Hey, so there's only two of us today pouring this garage floor. One of the guys, Darren, he's out today. This is a 32 by 20 garage, just to give you a relative size, and it's a little over 600 square feet for the two of us. Now, one truck is going to do this. I think I ordered 10.5 yards of concrete. It's roughly 4 to 5 inches thick. We got fiber mesh in the concrete for reinforcement, so we don't need wire, we don't need rebar. And you can see there's 2 inches of styrofoam down as a sub base, and that's code here in Maine for anything over 600 square feet. You got to have 2 inches of styrofoam. Now we're getting the concrete just poured out. Our regular floor mix is a 3,500 psi mix with water reducer. And if you don't know what water reducer is, I talk about it in all my videos. It helps us pour a looser slump like you see right now without affecting the strength. And then, of course, the fiber mesh, and then we'll put half air in this. So we got a little bit of air entrainment. We use that in most all our pours, even the interior ones, and it doesn't affect the troweling or the power troweling or anything like that. In case you've heard otherwise, we trowel concrete with air in it all the time with no problems. Now I'm going to leave this in kind of for the most part real time to give you an idea of just how long it takes two guys to pour a 600 square foot garage floor. And as you can see, the video's a little bit less than 16 minutes long, so it doesn't really take that long. I cut out a few of the little dead spots, but for the most part it's pretty easy. In the background you can see the DEWALT power shift battery Screed. Now we'll be using that. You get to check that out. There's even there's a bonus at the end of this video where I'm going to show you kind of like what I do in my training videos on the concrete underground, how I taper that big garage door there down by the concrete truck. There's like an 18-foot door, and I'm going to show you just step by step how I taper that towards the end of the video. Now with Luke and I, because we're real experienced, we like to get most of the concrete dumped out. We could stop right here. You can see that first little yellow pin I got in the center. I set the bottom of that yellow part right to the grade, so we'll mag what we call a wet pad right to that, and then I'll pull that pin out. I could use a laser level and do the same thing too, but this just gives us an idea how thick it is right there, what to go by when we're pouring out the concrete like we are right now. Then I got a second pin you can see in the background there for another grade stake. Now the funny thing about this garage floor was there's a garage door over there to the right. You can see my form, and the back, so like the back 12 feet of this garage is flat, and then from about that white pipe, maybe a little bit towards you here, from about the white pipe down to the big door where the concrete truck is, the floor slopes towards the garage door about 1.5 inches. And the reason for that is, most of the garages we do inside frost walls like this have a slope to them. Not a lot of people use a center drain anymore, so we'll slope them out the door, and then that just gives the water up. Water tends to run, if it drips off the car, towards the door and out the door versus sit in a big puddle as you step out of the car. We'll get just beyond that second little grade pin and we'll shut him off, and then I'm going to show you just how Luke and I get this thing screeded down. It'll give you a little bit of a sense of how long it takes two guys to get everything ready. Now we have, in case you can't see it in the video, we shot grades with the laser. The laser's way over there to the right, and we snapped a chalk line, and that's kind of what we're magging these outside pads to, is that chalk line we got snapped. That's pretty standard on every single floor we do, is we like to snap a chalk line for our outside grades. And then on the inside pads, we'll either set pins like this, or I'll just wet pad it with using the laser level and the receiver stick. Now this is what we like to do. A lot of guys screed differently than we do. Not many people kick screed the way we do, using like a 14-foot screed with two guys on it. This is the way we were taught. This is pretty fast, but we always like to hand screed our grade pads. We call these our grade pads. I could use the vibratory screed if I wanted to. It's just, being old school, this is the way we've always done it. We just like to make sure these grade pads are perfect. And then that gives us something to go by in the middle. And we always strike our garage doors. We want to make sure our garage, across the garage door, is super flat. Alright, so here's the vibrating screed by DEWALT. we really like this Screed. It's probably, you know, I don't know. I've never weighed it. I bet it weighs 40 pounds, maybe with the Screed bar on it. The battery lasts a really long time. We'll get a dozen or more of these floors out of it before we even have to think about recharging the battery. And then this is real-time speed right here. This is how long it takes to Screed about, I believe that's a 12-foot board on there, so 12 by, let's say 12 by 24. Takes just a couple minutes, maybe even less than a couple minutes to get this Screeded down. And then Luke, you can see Luke behind me, he's raking the concrete. His job is to make sure I don't get it, the concrete behind me isn't low, but it's also not too high. So there's a certain height, we want it just a little bit higher than grade, and then we let the Screed do the rest of the work by flattening it right out. The key for the guy running the Screed is just slow and steady. You know, don't keep stopping and starting. Don't go too fast, so the guy behind you raking, you know, can't keep up with you. And don't stop it in one spot and just leave it vibrating. It'll just kind of leave a big dip in that spot. But it tends to want to float on the concrete pretty nice. It doesn't really want to sink in when you set it down. And it's not too bad carrying around. Yeah, you can see that. So I just set it down, all the weight of it sitting on the bar, and it really kind of stays elevated pretty nice. So all in all, I mean, like we're working steady, what I call steady. We're not like hustling because we know the concrete's going to set up on us too fast, or because we think we're going to take too long and, you know, maybe incur an extra charge from the concrete company. I mean, you do have only so many minutes per yard for a lot of concrete companies that deliver to you, especially if you're not a regular contractor like we are. But you can see this is actually probably kind of slow, if you want to say slow, versus we could go a little bit faster. I could up the throttle a little bit and go a little bit faster if we wanted to, but there's really no reason to here. We're almost done. And then remember, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you, we're going to jump right back on the garage door opening and show you how we taper that. And if you really want to learn more about concrete, if you want to get into the concrete business, I would join the Concrete Underground. That's my private training. Plus, you get access to me in there via either phone calls or emails, where I can, you know, help mentor you in there. So I started the bull float, and then, you know, we just decided, hey, let's just dump the rest of this out. What we can do is we can start feeling it setting up a little bit. You can tell if you're a concrete guy, you know, when concrete starts setting up, coming right out of the truck, you can kind of have that feeling on your boots as you're stepping in it. So we wanted to get the rest of this just down and screeded, and then we'll get it bull floated afterwards. The concrete drive today from the concrete plant it's about an hour and 15 minutes down to this spot. We're way down on the coast of Maine in a little town called Bristol, Maine, if you want to Google that. And we live in Monmouth, so we're a little inland from here. But a lot of our work is down here. This is for the builder here is a regular contractor for us. So whenever she has a building, she calls us to have the concrete floor done. And we do a lot of epoxy coatings for her too. So we'll do our epoxy flake coating on a garage like this. That's another thing I have. I made a course for epoxy flake coating, so if you want to check that out in the links down below and maybe think about either getting into the coating business or doing your own garage floor, that would be the course to get right there. I go step by step in how to put down an epoxy flake coating over a garage floor, and those come out beautiful. Alright, so again, mag floating all the edges, gives us something to go by with the Screed. Luke's going to take over. He's going to finish this up with the Screed, and I'll do the raking here. That's one thing about, you know, working with Luke and Darren, the three of us, and then Eric in the summer. All four of us kind of know what to do. We know everything what to do, so everybody just kind of takes turns doing whatever. and it's really no big deal. The key for us is just getting it done, getting it in, getting it bull floated, and then we can get everything washed up, loaded back on the truck, and just, you know, wait around to power trowel it basically after that. So it just makes the job so much easier when everybody knows how to do everything, and no one really cares what they do. The only thing we really care about is getting the job done, getting it done right. You see, I got it a little bit low in there, so I'm trying to keep up with Luke, feeding him plenty of concrete there, especially behind his boots. And Luke saw one little spot he didn't really like, so he just stops real quick, sets it back, and then I'm pulling him up some more concrete. And then he's gonna go as far as he needs to in the direction he's going. Actually, he's really gone about as far as he needs to. You can see. Then he's gonna pick the screed up, turn it, and then go out the garage door. And Brian's going to dump me a little bit more concrete right there so I'm not too low and we can get this thing finished up. So that power screed, it has a throttle on the right handle, a little lever there that you pull, and we generally you only go about half throttle. It has a lot more power than what it kind of shows, and I'm showing you in the video, and it can go a lot faster if you need it to. And then the battery, you know, obviously the battery just slides down in. That's that big piece on the front that has DEWALT on it. That'll slide down in and out. We usually take that out and we store that in the toolbox, but you could leave it in if you wanted to. And then we unbolt the screed. That just takes probably 30 seconds to unbolt the screed. We put the screed up on the rack, and then I'll haul the headgear part of the laser screed right in the back of my pickup truck, you know, just kind of bungee it in there nice and tight. And that's like an everyday thing. So every day we're pouring concrete floors like this. So it makes it really convenient having that around. And this was the way we used to do it. And we still do a few floors like this, but this is the way we used to do it before these battery screeds or even the gas powered screeds came out. We would do all our concrete floors by hand like this. And I mean, it may look real difficult to us. This isn't hard because we've done it for so long, but it's a little bit more labor intense. And we like to make sure, like when we set that form across that garage door, and when we set it with a laser, and then we tap con it onto the outside of the foundation so nothing's going to move. And then we'll put braces on it if we need to make sure it stays nice and straight. But the real important thing is that's really flat right there. So when that garage door gets installed and the door sets down on the floor, like there's no gaps under it, there's no hump there, that would be the absolute worst thing. Or if it's not level from side to side. Alright, so I just quickly run the bull floor over it, then we're going to get into tapering down that garage door. And you can see how that easily that bull floats. If I have really good access around the foundation, I'll go both ways on that, and that just helps flatten everything out even a little bit better. Yep. All right, so here we are. So we taper that back to the inside of the wall. That garage door is going to sit down about an inch inside that garage foundation right there. So about 7 inches back from the form, and we're 8 inches back with a taper. And that works out to be just about perfect on every single residential garage that we do. And I don't like having a step up. A lot of guys will form this out and they'll have a little step up into the garage, like an inch or inch and a half step up. That's a trip hazard for me. That's what I think. I don't like that. I like this taper. We never have trouble with water getting back underneath the garage door and going into the garage when we taper a garage door opening like this. Now Luke just did the one in back, way up in the back right corner. He did that one. And this is the way we do it, you know. I just do it by eye. we snap that line in the concrete so I can keep that front edge really straight. And I cut out about a 1/2 inch of concrete on the form, and I've done it like hundreds of times so I can get that really accurate down a 1/2 inch. And then we just kind of form that taper in by hand, and that taper is really accurate. And I'm just mag floating that front edge. And as we power trowel the concrete, so as we go from mag floating to hand troweling, steel troweling, we go over and over this probably 3 or 4 more times just to sharpen all the edges up and make it look really good. And then for the very end finish, we'll put a little broom finish on it, guys. So make sure you check out these other 2 videos right here. Thanks for watching.